you guys want to hear a freaking awesome analog drum machine, then stick around because Nithonat 2 by D16 Group is not going to disappoint you on the show today. Hey guys, welcome to the Emlyn in the Mix show, season 5, episode 22. My name is, of course, Emlyn, and we do a show here on music technology, software and hardware, all the latest and greatest, pretty much a new product every single week on the show, which is freaking incredible. We've been going for 5 years strong right now, and every week surprises and delights me with the amount of amazing, just cool, innovative music tools that we have at our disposal. So Nithonat 2 is no exception. We're going to go over the specs today. I'll have a timeline down below so you can just get to the goodness if you want to get past my rambling on the specs. If you don't want to know what this thing can do, just get to me playing around with it. Timeline down below. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Quick shout out to our sponsor today. It is, of course, Native Instruments. They have their Summer of Sound sale happening right now with basically everything, nearly everything, don't quote me on that, is 50% off. You can get stuff like their full bundles at 50% off. This is freaking unbelievable. There is a bunch of stuff there. They're of course got their Isotope, BX group. They've got their whole sort of like group of music group, I've forgotten the name of it now, that they've collaborated with and created this incredible sale just for you. So it's not only the Native Instruments stuff, but there is a bunch more here. I'm currently looking at the Isotope software plugins here, but it is just an incredible, here we go. You can go best sellers. So you can just get a quick idea here, of course. Yeah, so like, for example, Complete 14 bundles are up to 50% or are 50% off. This is a crazy sale. So if you want to support the channel, do your back pocket a favor, or you've been eyeing off any of the Native Instruments software or gear, click that link down below. It does support the channel. There is kickback for me on it, but of course you are supporting this community because we want to grow, reach the masses, show them the latest and greatest in music technology, music software and hardware. Don't you want to help your fellow musicians make better music? I know I do. So that's why we're here. Click that link down below if you want to do that, and do yourself a favor, get some awesome sounds and music software. All right, let's jump back over to D16 Group. Nithonat 2, here we are, a little drum companion from the yesteryear. So what is it exactly? So characteristic harsh and metallic sounds that cut through the mix like butter. Yes, they sound freaking really good. A whole spectrum of sounds is now at your fingertips, rumbling kicks, bulky snares, and completely unique ear-grabbing toms and hi-hats. You got an effects chain to bring out what is the best in your sound. You got a convenient and inspiring sequencer. Now, if you've watched any of my other D16 Group softwares, which we've looked at in the past, drum machines, I should say, Nithonat 2 and Drumazon. I don't think I've looked at Drumazon 2 before, but Nithonat 2 we've definitely done on the channel. It's an incredible piece of software, and they pretty much, all of these guys have that little sequencer down the bottom. They're pretty intuitive and easy to use. Nithonat 2 being the smaller of the last two drum machines, but that doesn't, no exception here. It's just freaking cool. You could team it up with this Phoscyon 2, which we did look at on the channel. Phoscyon 2 is incredible. It's an acid line TB303 emulation, freaking out of this world. Maybe we'll do it on the show today. We'll have a bit of fun with those two together. I think they'll be like a match made in heaven. Get under the hood. All right, so here we go. This is what you're getting. For the first time since its release in the 80s, you can explore what the 606 would have truly been capable of. So this is a 606 emulation. And I didn't say that at the start. Couldn't actually remember which this was modeled after, but there you go. The 606 was designed. I was right, actually, just about to read this next line. The 606 was designed as a companion of the 303 Silverbox. So it may look deceptively simple, but it's a very versatile unit, and it's found its place in a whole variety of music genres, ranging from the 80s pop through to modern EDM and experimental. Yes, still used to this day. It is going to sound freaking good with the Acid Line 303 Silverbox that we're going to play with it today. Phoscyon 2. For those of you who are not tracking right now. If you're still not tracking, just, if you want to get past this part, you just go, again, I have that timeline down below. So it's a dedicated channel strip for every drum sound. I'll show you that today. You can go to each drum sound. You can play with the envelope. You can solo. You can mute. You can route. You can bus to effects if you want to do that inside your DAW. Now, if you don't know any of these terms, of course, look them up on Google right now, just so you're tracking on all the musical terms. Final touches are so crucial. So it has a capable mastering section which glues everything together really nicely. And in fact, if you turn that off, things start sounding a little bit wild, a little bit harsh. You'll see. MIDI map and trigger outs. Actually, I do have to say, I've got the heater on in the background, so hopefully that isn't disturbing our show too much today, but I do need it. It is very cold this morning. All right, MIDI map and trigger out, so you can route your MIDI of this drum machine to other devices if you want to do that into software, of course. And I believe you could probably also send it out to a real life drum machine. Yes, of course you could do that because it's MIDI out. You could do that from your computer, no problems at all. And get some pretty funky sequences, but that's pretty much it. Specs wise, you know, you can use it on Apple OS, Mac OS 10.13 to 14 and above Sonoma, and Windows 7 or newer. It's VST 2 and 3 capable and AAX compatible host application, 32-bit and 64-bit. All right, I think I've done enough here. It's not a huge app. I think it was about 150 megabytes. All right, let's have a look at Nithonat 2. We've got it inside live, and let's have a play. So we've got the default browser up here. Like all D16 group software, you can change the GUI. Now, again, I got to say, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but I have had a cold this last week. So if my voice still sounds kind of nasally, it was a low-end Emlyn last week when we looked at low-end modular, and now I'm nasally Emlyn, but we just can't. There's no Nithonat to nasal Emlyn connection here that we can do. Anyway, GUI, you can change the size here on the fly. We can make it big. Maybe we do it massive for the show today. Let's see. So you can change the GUI size, make it huge like this. This might be a lot of fun on the show. Make it really big so you can see. Now, I'm going to get rid of the ban on Spotify. We are on Spotify if you do. How do I do that? If you do want to listen to me on the go, you can search for Emlyn in the Mix. Checks out on Spotify. We'll get rid of that there. And we do have a secondary camera. I don't know why we need it today because I don't think I can even play the keys MIDI triggered off this. But let's have a quick look around the unit and then let's have a little play and mix up with a 303 Silverbox here. Okay, so just looking around the unit itself, we will get rid of that camera so you can actually see it a bit better. Up the top here, you got your options where you can change your GUI size, MIDI automation, host automation, and so forth, MIDI mapping, audio outputs, and your sequencer. Okay, so then you got your default sizes if you want to restore it back to your default size. Then here you've got your scenes, which you have heaps. You've got an absolute plethora. I think there was like 1,000 presets. I don't know about scenes, but 1,000 presets in drum kits maybe. So if we move along, we'll close this here. Down the bottom, you've got your sequencer, and you can turn that on and off here. And I'll show you how that works in a moment. You've got your drum kit up the top, where you can change your actual drum kits. Now, on probably the most important part of this plugin is on the side here. You need to go via synth, where you can change like your mix level, decay, make your, depending on what instrument you're playing with, like a tom, you can make it more snappy, for example. Then you can go to strips, which I like this layout here because I can actually select each instrument here on the left, see just above my head here, and then you can play with your envelope, your routing, your busing, and that sort of thing. So this is a nice layout here. Master output volume just over here on the right. And then if we go to master bus, then this is where you're gluing your compression and limiting is happening. And then this is your MIDI triggering out, which I probably won't show off much on the show today just because we haven't got any hardware hooked up. But you don't have to have hardware. You could do it internally with other software. You could actually route the MIDI out of this going into that 303. Again, not going to do that today. We're just going to do a quick sort of, I guess I call it shallow dive of this plugin, just showing it off. But I think I should just shut up now and we should just have a quick listen and I'll show you how you can just go through some of the scenes. So this is the default preset here. Let's have a listen to it. Unleash the harsh beats. Here we go. Oh yeah. So you can see my sequencer going down here. We can just flick through a few. If you click on the presets down here, it'll bring them all up above me there. But I'll just play through a few now and you can have a listen to with the same drum kit but different sequences. All right, let's say we found something we like. So I'm going to just sort of show you how you can use this when making a track. Okay, so I like this rhythm here, African Heritage. I'm going to pull my GUI size down just a little bit, just so I can see my DAW Ableton Live running in the background there. But, so let's say, okay, I like this. Now let's explore through our drum kits. Okay, so see what works with this sequence. So I can either click on it here, or I can flick through the presets here. So let's go with this sequence here. And I'm gonna go flick through some drum presets. Here we go. This chorus going on, this sounds mad. There is a chorus here. We can turn that down a bit. Okay, and then let's say I like this particular drum kit. It's not bad. So we could play with the synth sort of set up here and just play with your sounds, get your levels right. So we can actually solo. So there's my bass drum, pretty low end, I could increase it. I could change the tune on the fly here in the synth engine part, change the decay so it was less boomy. I kind of like the decay, that's why I chose this particular drum kit. Change the attack. I like the attack slower, you get that real open with the long decay, kind of works. I don't think there is a snare, we can solo the snare, but there's nothing on it. Low toms, high toms, could tune it down a bit. Make the decay short, make it snappier. Increase its volume a bit. We've got a bit of a closed hi-hat going on here. We change the decay on it. And we got a cymbal. I'll turn that down a bit. So now if we go to strips, right? So I'm on the cymbal here. So now we're in a slightly different overlay or look. But here I can play with the envelope, the frequency, the cutoff. I could put a high cut on it, for example. If you didn't like where it was sitting in the mix, change the frequencies here. Your width. You can put low cut on it. Doesn't really need it. You can put compression on it as well if need. And then you can push it out on the bus as well. Pop a bit more reverb tail on it. Probably a bit loud in the mix, but let's have a listen to that. Okay, I'm not happy with the level here, but you can also play with the volume just here as well, which you could do on the synth page anyway. Okay, cool, so now we've got our groove sort of somewhere where we want it, right? But let's say I didn't like this bass drum, so all we do, this is what I love about this. So I can jump over to the bass drum. I'm on the bass drum now, we can solo it, and then we can just flick through the presets, find a bass drum we like. So this is our default preset. We'll go through a few. Whoa, thumping. There's plenty of awesome vintage analog sounds on here. You're not gonna get like disappointed. If you like these vintage sounds, you're covered. Now I do have to say my tempo, that's the other thing I didn't mention. When you play the sequencer inside the actual GUI, the plugin, it automatically syncs. Of course it syncs with your DAW, but I realized I didn't even say that anyway. But for example, let's speed it up a bit. I want something a bit faster, bring it a bit more housey, 124. Here we go. So this should play back. There we go. Okay, cool. I don't mind this, a little bit modern, it says cutting edge. That's better. So it's like a modern with it's called Deep Impact, but it's sort of like the modern bass drum with a bit more low end. I actually really like that. So let's have a listen to my mix. It's pretty cool. I don't mind that. I might get rid of, no. Yeah, I might get rid of that. Just simple, right? All right, we got a cool groove now. I'm really happy with my drum kit. I don't mind this groove. Okay, so now let's say you want to start building your track. Simple, and you want to put it into your DAW. So there's a little export option here. Now you're going to get your option of dragging MIDI or drag the pattern, depending on if you've got it in a drum player. For the sake of this video, I'm just putting it into the sequencer, so I'm going to drag the MIDI and literally just click and drag. This all works pretty good. So if I close my plugin, you can see, you can see in Ableton Live there at the top. We have it. It feels like this is a bit small. Let's just bring this up a bit. There you go. And there you go. And it plays back in my sequence. Actually, you've got to turn off, sorry, this is one thing I need to mention. So after you've done your export, you can close it, get rid of your internal sequencer. Now you just play it back in here. So it's gonna play, and yeah, you can just copy and paste if you need be, you know? Now what I like to do is I like to mix it up a bit. So I'll put my internal sequencer back on, and there's some options inside your internal sequencer which I wanted to show you just really quickly as well. So for example, you've got your scale, you've got your length, so you could shorten here for like this next part of the song. You could just have it going, and you could shuffle it up a bit. Once you hit about 30%, you really start to hear the shuffle. That's kind of nice. We can make it 8, just make it a bit more interesting. You can also draw in your pattern too, of course. You get a different groove completely. You can even half time it as well, which is pretty cool. So you can go in here, you can speed it up, or you can make it half time, 1/8. And even double the slowness, so you can make it super fast at 64th, depending on what tempo you have it on too. Of course, that's going to sound absolutely crazy. But just a lot of fun, you know, like I like to make little grooves in sections of the song. So I would export this, for example, and then I'd just put that up there. That's sort of going to mix up my groove. There's going to be like, these little bits are going to go here. And then I would actually just, so it's easy to see in my DAW, I'd just give it a different color. So then that way I can see where the track's sort of transitioning. But here, if we turn off the internal sequence, you get an idea. So we've got this little, so a little groove, little sequence going, right? But very simple, very easy to use. It's going to play that little bit back there. If you wanted to just keep going, you can of course go through. Still got the same drum kit, but there's just heaps of presets on here. Like this is something else. Like preset wise, and we're just looking at the presets of sequences. Keep that in mind. Sound wise, it's off the chain. There is a lot. But like, yeah, you can go through heaps if you want, like. So the cool thing actually I do like about this plugin is when I select a new sequence, it just completely overrides what I've actually got in my DAW, what I've actually put in there. It's good because then you can hear sort of what you're putting together and then drag and drop. I like to work this way. I don't know about you, but this kind of works for me. So we go through some more presets. That's kind of cool. Like, again, I would just be like experimenting, sort of building something up here, turn that off, then play that back. Give that a different color, by the way, just so I can see it was slightly different. See, now we've got like a sort of an interesting groove, something a bit different, right? Add a bit more bit crush, put the bits down. See, the effects on this thing are awesome too. I'm not going to do a full overview on the effects, I just want to give you an idea. You can really get in there with the effects. Put your feedback delay up. Just depending on if it's routed or not. Back to bit crusher. 8-bit. Gives a bit of grit. Nice, huh? Oh, that's so sick. You could actually put it through the bus and then bring it back. You could do like a live performance with this. Listen to this. I can sort of filter out the bass because I can send it straight through the bus. You ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. That's amazing. Start making some real hard techno. Bring it back. Oh, I really love that bass drum. Jeez, I hope it's not distorting the speakers, but that sounds really freaking good. Okay, I guess at this point, I've pretty much given you a full overview. I mean, you got all your effects slots down the bottom here. I haven't really gone into a deep dive on that. But I think the main point of this particular plugin I've shown you, scenes up here, there's heaps, man. There's like hundreds of scenes. Drum kits, don't even get me started. Like, we've barely scratched the surface on drum kits. I'm not going to sit here and do a preset surf on drum kits today, although there is a lot. And curiosity has to say that I want to check out basically every single one. But I think the main points of it is, you know, playing with the sequence, and you got heaps of sequences as well, which is just absolutely just awesome for inspiration and just getting your ideas down, your groove. It doesn't matter. You can create your tempo. This will work in pretty much any style of music that you're happy to fit some analog sounding drums in. You're going to be able to do it with this particular plugin. Let's check out some different presets with this particular groove. So House of Candy, let's have a listen. Ah, this one. Alright, that's going to give us a mad techno groove here. I've just chosen one at random. Invisible Garbage Truck. Alright, so then let's add the TB303 Emulation Phoscyon 2 here. And you're just going to get an idea of how these two were sort of originally, the hardware versions, that is, they were made for each other. I said I'll do it on the show here today, and why not? Let's just have a look here. So now we're gonna have both plugins up. You got a Phoscyon 2 acid line, and we could just go through, and I've turned the sequencer off on the drum. It's actually gonna play my little sequence I've created up here, and let's have a listen with the TB303. Okay, Phoscyon 2 TB303 Emulation Phoscyon 2 by D16 group. Here we go. Oh, hell, that's amazing. I love that this preset for the scene is called Best Served with a Beat. Like, it just absolutely is. But you get the idea. These two are like literally a match made in heaven. I could do this all freaking day. Let's go. We'll go through a few scenes and then I'll wrap up the show. But you get the idea how these two are a match made in heaven. All right, guys. I think you get the idea. We're not here to show off Phoscyon 2. If you want to watch that, definitely check out my video review on Phoscyon 2. I freaking loved Phoscyon 2. But we are, of course, here for Nithonat 2. And you can see how they both really complement each other. I mean, if I turn off Nithonat 2 and you just have the acid line Phoscyon 2 running, you'll hear it just doesn't have that exact oomph. I mean, it's cool, but put the Nithonat 2 in and we are cruising. Oh, I really like my groove I made too, by the way. Anyway, I hope I've shown you enough. We're going to have to wrap up the show there. But that is Nithonat 2. A quick look at it. Using it with Phoscyon 2. What did you guys think? Definitely leave a comment in the comment sections down below. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you to D16 Group for letting us check. I hope I've been pronouncing this right, by the way. Nithonat 2. I was going to say, is it Nithonat? It's not going to be Nithonat. There's a H in there. It's got to be Nithonat 2. The drum machine, the legend, the 606 emulation as it was, and it works so well with the TR-606 emulation Phoscyon 2. Their acid line, absolutely love everything that D16 Group does. They just sound like gold. These plugins just have the best emulation. This is no exception for analog. Absolutely freaking love it. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure if you like this video, if you're still here, definitely need to leave a like. It helps the algorithm, helps other musicians, our musician friends find these videos like this and share the love. You can do that as well. You can do share. You can leave me a super thanks if you're like feeling super thankful for today. Leave me a super thanks down below. Definitely every little bit helps to keep this channel alive. Absolutely love that. Helps the algorithms do all that. Hit subscribe if you like it as well. And of course, don't forget to miss out on today's sponsor. Of course, it is the Summer of Sound from Native Instruments. These are crazy good deals. I wouldn't put this sponsor in if I didn't think this was good for you, because literally, again, if you've been eyeing off any of Isotope, Native Instruments, any of the Plugin Alliance group, all of those things are on special right now. If you just jump over to that Summer of Sound page, it is happening right freaking now. It's either this sale or you wait till your Black Friday deals. Like literally, these only come twice a year, I think, with deals like this. End of financial year, you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, you get my drift. Guys, thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you to D16 Group. Leave a comment down below if you like the video or you have a question. And we'll be back next week. All right, till then, peace out. Boom.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Emlyn in the Mix podcast. Here you will find all the latest in music technology, software and hardware, interviews and more. Also, don't forget to check out the Emlyn in the Mix YouTube channel today. Till next time, keep it real.